hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, 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 won't you let the light shine through? In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into PGR eSports Live tonight with the Intimidator Superspeedway Series making a stop at the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You are watching Austin Green, hopefully alongside Matt Mettler. He had a couple technical issues just before we were getting things started. But we'll go ahead and get the party rolling nonetheless. Let's get right down trackside and get things kicked off here tonight with your starting grid. Taking the pole, Steve Korosek, one of the old Dale Cup drivers, making a return, working with maybe a couple new teammates and some of the old as well. Again, he will start from the pole tonight. Looks like he put down a 55.182. Rolling off on the outside pole in second tonight, it'll be Kevin Freeze in the 25 truck. Devin Ray back in third. It's going to be Malik Ray in fourth. Cody Nagel's back in the fifth spot. Matt Lee on the outside of row number 3. Ethan Eckert back in seventh. Aubrey Thompson in eighth. Jeff Merck is in ninth. And it's Matthew Baker for NBG Motorsports rounding out the top 10. Moving on back to row number 6. Dylan Basin on the inside. Richard Elliott on the outside. Starting in that 13th spot here tonight. Landon Velicki for Nightmare Esports. Nathan Harper, he'll start 14th. Michael Triscaro, series owner, starts 15th, with Joshua McCullough to his outside in 16th. Then you've got John Mullahan from McCullough Motorsports back in 17th. Joe Herda in 18th for the Jack Shack. David Sheets in 19th, and Nash Brambilla rounding out your top 20. Brian Henning starting in 21st. Brock Westmoreland in 22nd. Stephen Miles back in the 23rd spot. It's going to be Steve Sizemore in 24th. Connor Cunningham 25th. Chris Melton 26th. And then back in row 14, Chase Mistretta alongside Mark Von Dell. Manatzi Major 29th with Larry McDonald rounding out the top 30. Ken McCullough Jr. starts 31st. Jackson Holbrook 32nd with Evan Carlbon back in 33rd. James Wagner 34th. Jackson Buys in 35th. Jeremy Osborne starts from 36th here tonight. Troy Baker back in at 37th. Quentin Steinbach, one of the fan favorites, is in 38th. Jack Mummert 39th, and Mike Davenport rounds out the front 40. Moving on back to 41st, John Darnell. Garrett Maines will start 42nd with Daniel Falkingham in 43rd. Then you've got John Ward 44th, Joshua Sutherland 45th, Andrew Zonto in 46th with Sean Corbett in 47th, and Christopher McCullough 48th with Brandon Broadfoot rounding out the field in 49th. Taking a look at your race info. The distance tonight going to be 60 laps. We're back in the trucks. 50% fuel, unlimited tires, still no fast repair, so you got to take care of your stuff and make it to the end to have a chance at the big money. Fixed setups as always in 3 green-white checkers. 86 degrees outside, 55% humidity. Clear skies, winds at 6 miles an hour, and the track is hot today. Hot and slick at that. Over 130 degrees going to be the starting track temp for Talladega Superspeedway, which comes in at just over 2.5 miles in length. Well, the buildup continues to work slowly towards the PGR 500, but each and every week, you still have a shot to be crowned a PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series winner, and another driver could have that opportunity here tonight. Field now in the hands of Steve Korosek and Kevin Freeze. Here they come into the Geico restart zone for the first time tonight. Green flag is in the air. We are racing at Talladega.
All right, man, caution is out.
And right away, caution flag flies. Trouble in the back on the restart. For a couple of trucks, you see him just now appearing into view. I was trying to figure out exactly who it was that had the issue here. Got a report that it may have included, thought for a second it may have been Jackson Buys, but it's looking like it may not. This is the one truck that's slow that we saw released for just a moment. That's the 99 of John Darnell. So we'll have to see if he gets back rolling here and if maybe he was affiliated with this accident. It appears that he was. Again, these guys didn't even make it to third gear yet when the issue occurred. All right, so let's go back and see how it all plays out right here. As, man, this is big trouble. I mean, this is before they even make it to the start-finish line. And it's going to start just a big, big checkup on the outside. You're going to notice it here for Jeremy Osborne. It really starts kind of in front of him. We'll go to the chopper view first. And just watch this outside. Watch how it starts to stack. Right there, a couple of big checkups. Osborne actually gets running the back of, but it looks like the 5 machine there. And if we zoom this in a little bit more right here, that's the mellow yellow car. Is that? Trying to figure out exactly who this was. Because we've already got a couple cars that had to retire with some of the damage we saw from that last incident. And we'll get more on exactly who this was here in just a moment. But watch what happens. As again, they're trying to work up to speed. You see the 5 a little bit further up on the outside. John Darnell, he's going to have a pretty good view of this. There's the checkup. Big hit into the back of Jeremy Osborne. Turns him right down the track. And he collects John Darnell, who also has to take a bit of a detour through the grass. But they're able to get it back going. Get back on track. And not any significant damage on either of those trucks that's going to affect their outcome in the race. Maybe going for a couple of dents to get scratched out, if you will. I guess I should say get buffed out. A few scratches and dents, that is, but nothing too bad. I think Osborne arguably gets the worst of it right there as he gets tagged in the back. But, I mean, watch this from the start of you. This to show you, I mean, this is such a big field here tonight that there's going to be a couple times you got to be careful, and one of them is going to be on these restarts. You've just got so many trucks that are all trying to get a nice, clean restart. By the way, you see all the dirt kind of that got thrown back up on the racetrack, and a lot of debris that these guys threw on the racetrack. We'll see if they can get it cleaned up and cleared off before we get back to green flag racing, but definitely something to be a little bit of concern. As you saw, Jackson Buys, another one of the cars that was potentially slightly involved in that one. Joshua Sutherland got back rolling. He was able to dodge it with no issues. Jack Mummert may have had some slight contact, and then up ahead, everybody else was able to sneak through without issue, but I was trying to figure out, I think it was Quentin Steinbach who made the initial contact from the back, and yeah, it was. So for Steinbach, the concern would be damage on the front end, but he looks okay. Give you one more shot at this before we go back live. This is from the onboard view here for Steinbach, and watch what it looks like from his view. He's hanging back. He thinks they grab the green right here. He gets going, and then has to check up all of a sudden and just not quite able to do so. All right, so let's go back live now. Race getting ready to go back under green flag condition here, but it looks like the lights on the pace car are still on at the moment. So we'll go ahead and pace around one more lap before we get back under green flag conditions. By the way, if you're just tuning in, we appreciate you being here. Hope that everybody is having a good night so far as we continue to kind of watch how this field's going to sort out. One of the updates I want to give everybody is iRacing actually had a pretty big update recently, and one of the updates was something that you kind of noticed during that last caution, and that is the new, I don't know what the exact word was. I think the best way that I heard people put it is dirt physics, if you will, but not for dirt tracks, more so gravel physics. When you go in the grass now, you bring that debris that you pick up from when you go off track back onto the racing surface. Now, it's not a huge ordeal at a track like Talladega or really any super speedway, but it's still something to keep an eye on. We'll have to see if that affects anybody here tonight. And the other thing, got to watch a truck race on Tuesday over at RMR and noticed that there was a lot more trouble with guys trying to push pretty much as hard as they always have, but it just wasn't quite working out nearly as smoothly. Had a couple guys getting hooked on what would normally be pushes that would be acceptable in these trucks. So that'll be the other thing that we have to keep an eye on here tonight. And make sure that when push comes to shove, everybody is able to keep it together. Matt Mettler appears still having some sort of issue. He has not been able to return up to the booth with us yet, so we apologize for that. But again, appreciate everybody sticking around at the moment. A couple of big names in the field here tonight. Aubrey Thompson, good to see him back. Haven't seen him as much as we once used to, but he's looking for victory lane tonight. Michael Triscaro, as always, one of the favorites. Still looking for that first win. Jeff Merck in the 60. He may have a good opportunity here tonight. Back in the 18th spot right now. Joe Herta currently finds himself up one position from where he started this race at. And for Joe Herta, currently just rolling on the inside. See, he's got a bit of a, I think it's a bit of a choke scheme with maybe a little bit of a dedication to, I was trying to figure out if that was Trevor Osornoff on there. And the Jack Shack boys, they love to have some fun. And for Joe Herta here tonight, he's making sure to get it in wherever he can. And sure enough, you see the JSR logo on the side. Jack Shack boys always know how to have a good time at the racetrack. Back up front we go. Steve Korosek getting ready for the green flag now as Kevin Freeze on his outside. And speaking of the Jack Shack, check out Devin Ray in third right now. Looking truck for him here tonight. He's going to line up alongside Malik Ray. And then back in that fourth spot, it's going to be Cody Nagels, Ethan Eckert in sixth. By the way, for Cody, another one of the storylines coming in here tonight, got unbanned. After, I say unbanned, it was more so a brief suspension. I know him and Kyler had both been suspended. Cody now has been reinstated. Not sure if Kyler's in the same boat just yet. We'll have to find out. Obviously not here tonight, so not back just yet. And how about for Matt Lee? Good looking paint scheme for his truck as well here. He's going to roll off on the outside spot, third in line on the outside lane. He's got the prime on the quarter panels. And then the Icon, the new main sponsor for what used to be the Martin eSports driver, Matt Lee. We'll see what he can do here tonight. He has made the switch back over to NBG. So he'll be trying to work with Matthew Baker, Jeff Merck, who he can find right now just a couple spots behind. All right, here we go. Getting ready to try this again as the pace car is going to make the dive down to the pits. Only 4 laps complete It'll be 5 as they cross the line to grab the green flag, but we still got plenty of racing. A couple green flag stops to make, and a chance at a lot of money once we get to the climax and the end of this race. Here we go. Back into the restart zone we go. Green flag is in the air. We're back underway at Talladega. Lap 1, well, I guess I should say the first official green flag lap of the race at least, now officially complete with 6 laps in total complete in the race here tonight. And it is Steve Korosek in the lead on point on the inside line. Kevin Freese trying to set up a big run on the outside. Nothing doing just yet. They'll stay side by side as they drag race down the Alabama Gang backstretch. Steve Korosek, big push. Devin Ray and Cody Nagels tucked in. They are 3x3 in terms of a tandem right now on the inside and the outside, but neither lane was able to prevail just yet. Now for Steven, really, this is going to go for everybody here tonight. With this hot track temp, that becomes managing these 2 lanes that much more important. If you're Steve here, you know that one of these 2 pushers is going to get hot. The question is it going to be Devin Ray or Malik Ray first? And that's going to determine who controls what. Kevin Freese, though, hoping that Malik can give him enough of a shove to get up here, get clear, make that jump down, and start trying to control this field. This is also going to cause potentially just a little bit of grip issues as the race goes on. Normally these trucks, very stable. They still will be here on fresh tires tonight, but with that really hot track temp, as the race starts to go on, we could potentially start to see a couple drivers have a little bit of handling issues. 193 miles an hour for this top lane as they're getting rolling, and guess who? It's going to be a couple of the PGR eSports teammates up top. Triscaro working with NBG, but still, of course, affiliated with PGR eSports. Him and Brambilla working together right now, trying to get some momentum going. They're going to get a little bit of a run here off of 4, but the problem is they've got to stay lined up. You see when they start to duck out right and left, that's looking for air, and also just the truck getting a little bit unstable when you're pushing that aggressive. But man, look at the speed they pick up here from the short chute right out of the tri-oval down towards turn number 1. Almost 195 miles an hour as track temp now at 134. That's up a degree from where we started this race at. That's where it's going to stay put for just about the entirety of this race here tonight. And all the 2x2 up front, they may be getting that 3rd lane because they just keep having one more at a time jump out. Matthew Baker made the move during the last half of this lap. Now they're going to see the 15 jump out as well. Aubrey Thompson, he wants a piece of the action. Watch out, that starts to stack them up out back. Can everybody hold on? It looks like they do for the moment. Man, that was a really, really close call right there. You knew when Thompson jumped up, it was going to stack up the 3rd lane just a little bit, but I don't know if anybody necessarily had it being quite that bad. Meanwhile, up front, all that momentum starting to stall out on the inside. Kevin Freese was able to jump down. That was thanks to the push that he got from Malik Ray. Malik now going to have a chance to cool, but will he have enough here? Matt Lee now in charge of keeping the 7 even because here comes the outside. The Coasting Thunder, number 5 Chevy Silverado. Matthew Baker trying to push the 15 to Thompson all the way to the lead. Big push now in the middle. Is it going to be enough to hold? No, it will not. Aubrey Thompson going to get enough of a push to go to the front, and he will drop down right in front of Freese. Does the double, goes all the way down to the bottom. And man, these guys, I mean, again, we talk about a race with no fast repairs and really no bonus here for a halfway prize. There's nothing but the payouts at the end. I mean, this is really, really aggressive. You can almost start to get the sense that something's going to give here if these guys aren't careful. Right now, everybody going for it, trying to get as much TV time and lead time as possible. But it's been pretty much all Kevin Freese in terms of who's been able to stay on one of these front 3 rows the most, as Korosek has now found himself the lead pusher. Malik Ray still being the lead pusher. And Matt Lee now trying to make a run on this outside. He's got his teammate Matthew Baker doing the push-in. There's the 5 of Quentin Steinbach working his way back on the racetrack under the apron right now. He'll wait till the field goes by before he tries to get up and stick with the draft. And by the way, now it is just officially 10 of 60 laps in the books. Still have a long ways to go with a couple pit stops to be made, and that's the next topic that I want to talk about. You think about when pit stops, when we might see the first one. You figure 50% in these trucks is going to get you probably somewhere, if I had to guess, I'd say probably pretty close to 16, probably about 16 to 20 laps. I'm thinking maybe more so the 16 to 18 side, and go a little bit less than the Xfinity cars. So that's kind of going to be my guess for now. If that's the case, then we would expect pit stops, I would believe, probably right around the early 20s. Maybe the first handful of laps once we reach the lap 20 mark. So still a little bit of a ways to go before we get to that point. Is, ooh, man, in the middle of the pack right there, you saw a couple trucks starting to bobble around just a little bit. Give you the onboard view here for Landon Veliky right now. All he sees is the back bumper of Nathan Harper. And Veliky, by the way, an official PGR winner. He got the job done in the preview to the PGR 500. Did count as an official win. Landon also PGR's newest development broadcaster. So you'll hear Landon on Mondays commentating, either just by himself or co-commentating for the PGR Light Series. So again, you can catch that on Mondays. I believe it starts at 10 p.m. Had a chance to run that last Monday. It was a blast. You better believe you're going to see the same numbers and the same kind of racing here next week. So we continue to look forward to that. By the way, we do have quite a few driver cams here tonight from quite a few different unique perspectives too. We'll show you kind of the field and view here from Brandon Broadfoot. Right now, just chilling out back. Doesn't feel like pushing the issue yet. He sees all the chaos. And so for Broadfoot right now, he is more than fine with just kind of hanging around. Hear him lift off the throttle right there. That's the driver out of Chico, California. And there's the onboard view for Brandon Broadfoot here. He's also going to be able to save quite a bit of fuel when he's running in the back like this in a draft that's 3 lanes wide this deep. So Brandon, we of course appreciate him carrying an onboard view for us here tonight. Then you get a perspective from a little bit closer to the front of the field. How about Jeff Merck right now, trying to hook up with a couple of his teammates. Merck right now looking very, very locked in. I think for Jeff Merck, tonight's, again, an opportunity here is, he may have just had a brief issue. Looks like we just lost Merck's cam. Not sure what happened there, but he had some sort of issue now. We're seeing reports that maybe Ethan Eckert had some trouble as well. We'll see if we can get some insight on this. Man, big bottleneck here in the middle portions of the field, but in terms of Ethan Eckert here, I don't see any actual issues he may have had unless he just got sent to the back by something. He is in the pits now, but not exactly sure what happened to Eckert here. This is back about a lap ago here. Does he just... What in the world is this here? He's back behind the pack. And then right here, he's coming to the tribal. And just... I don't really know. I can't say I've ever really seen whatever that was by Ethan Eckert before. As there's a little roll around. Keeps it going and then just drives on the track. I mean, I think the assumption's got to be that he had a technical issue, but race control is absolutely not going to have any part of this. Let's see what happened here from the onboard view. Does his wheel give out? I really don't know what to make of that. That's such a weird scenario. I mean, you see that truck almost flips over too for him, but I'm not really sure what happened to Eckert there. We'll have to see if we can get some sort of update. And man, that was really, really close for a lot of drivers. That could have been big and took out a lot of trucks. Got lucky on that one. Back to the front we go. They are still 3 wide. You can start to see more and more trucks struggling just a little bit with handling as the tires are starting to wear out a little bit. Even with the handling issues, though, they stay in that beautiful 3 abreast formation. About 10 rows deep. Man, make it maybe a little bit less. Now it might go to 10 because Richard Elliott in the 0-2, he's ready to get aggressive. He'll jump to the outside now. Matt Lee going to make the shuffle up to the middle. That stacks up that middle lane just a little bit. Nathan Harper in the 0-1 was able to get 3 truck tandemed up with that middle line. Thought maybe it would be enough to get Matt Lee clear, but it's just not quite there. And for Richard Elliott, Matthew Baker is his sole hope right now. Baker, no push from behind yet. Brambilla and Brock Westmoreland are trying to get there, but it may take too long. Can the third lane hold on until that point? Things starting to disintegrate here just a little bit now in the middle. Baker's going to bail. He jumps down to that middle. Looks like his teammate there, Michael Triscaro, was able to cut him a little bit of a break and let him in. And we mentioned for Michael Triscaro how big of a win this would be. That was the onboard view for Baker. And as we mentioned, Michael Triscaro also carrying an onboard shot for us here tonight as well. That's what the cockpit view looks like, both virtual and real life. Michael Triscaro right now, he's just trying to take it kind of easy here. As he rolls behind Matthew Baker. If he wants to go to that third lane, he'll have the opportunity again to work with his teammate if he so pleases. And then the man who got reinstated tonight, we already mentioned it, but Cody Nagels, good to see him back in the field tonight. ERA Omega Cup Spring Bowl winner. Looking to see if he can add yet another PGR win here tonight to his resume after seeing Matt Lee get his first PGR win last week. And for Matt Lee here tonight, he's up 5 spots from where he started this race at, still leading the field. Okay, so we are now 17 of 60 laps through this race, and that means that we are getting closer and closer to making it to that first round of pit stops here tonight. About, I'd say 5, maybe 7 laps from now, 5 to 7, is when we would see those first round of pit stops. And then it just starts to become a matter of who goes and when, and do they start to split it in terms of teams, or do they try to all just go in different groups? We've kind of seen a mixture of both, but either way, I mean, this is going to be a massive, massive group of cars that are all trying to go in right here. As that report here looks like from actually somebody in chat that John Ward got wrecked while we were looking at the Ethan Eckert replay. And for John Ward, he's in the pits now. Yeah, we did not get any data on that, but you can see the damage. Wow. All right, let's go back and look at this then. See when this happened. We believe this may have happened around when Ethan Eckert had his issue here. Did Ward... Let's see. Well, let's back this up a little more. It looks like he had damage at this point. Unless he got anything new. I don't think so. Ooh. You can see how this is going to go for the 92. He was drafting with this second group. We hadn't really mentioned much yet, and does he just get hooked? So that's going to be the guess right here. You can see right here is there going to be a little bit of a checkup. It doesn't look like it, at least not there. The 11 of Jackson Byes behind him. Byes is getting a little offset here. Brief checkup, and then Byes just going to clip Ward in the right rear. That's going to send Ward around here into the fence. Truck starts to lift up. Now it rolls back into the fence. And then eventually here he's going to slide down below the apron. Gets it straightened back up, but not without a lot of damage. That may bring an end to any competitive chances for John Ward here tonight. Pit stops underway here. We'll get a replay of this first one here after we confirm if everybody got through clean. We had a lot of issues here, so that's going to answer that question of if they got in clean. The answer was no. We're going to have some stuff to sort out here, but let's see what happens. And who wins the race off? Ooh, man, Coruscant, couple of issues there. He overshot it twice. Usually that first box a good spot to have, and not for Coruscant in this case. He's going to have to hope he can stick with the field. Looks like he very well may, as the rest of the field works out without any further issue. A couple of trucks that have not pit yet. Let's see if they bring it in this time. As Thomas Barker asked, who was it that turned him? That was Jackson Byes in the 11 truck with the contact. And here comes Nathan Harper, bringing it down for his first round of service. Aubrey Thompson leading the field out as he was the leader, I believe, going in. And this was a couple of the issues we had. This is on the first pit stop here. You're going to see a couple of them peel off. Let's watch it from TV3. Brock Westmoreland, Chris Melton. And Chris just way too hot. He's going to get into the grass. Brock, 2 tires in the grass as well. And then this is that next pit stop sequence after. And this is a big, big group. I mean, look how many cars are going to try to pit here. And this is where you start to run into issues because you just have so many trucks. And I mean, look, you got everybody sideways. Mullahan's going to loop it around, though, here. He's just in way too deep. Gets into Mike. That sends Mike around. Baker has trouble there as he has contact with Matt Lee. Those are teammates. I mean, this one was just a mess all the way around. Let's get one more look at this here. We'll watch it from the rear chase view for Brambilla. See Mullahan with the big lockup. You got trucks out back just coming in too hot. And there's the contact. And then for Brambilla, it didn't end there. You saw Matt Lee, Matthew Baker get together. So a lot of problems on that first round of pit stops. Normally that's not an issue. It may not be tonight unless this race goes green the rest of the way. That may have hurt some drivers either way, though. Back up front, you can see just how much the pack has trimmed, at least for now. There's going to be some more trucks that catch this group. In terms of exactly how many that is, that's still the question that we await to be answered here, as you've got Malik Ray being scored as your leader. Stephen Miles currently in second. Kevin Freeze back in third. Lane of Elke fourth. Aubrey Thompson in fifth. Devin Ray in sixth, with Ken McCullough Jr. 7th, Joshua McCullough in 8th, Dylan Basin in 9th, and Joe Herta rounding out your top 10. Matt Lee back in 11th, Jeff Merck in 12th, and Merck right now the last truck in this lead pack, but he doesn't have to look too far back to see the next group trying to track them down. Steve Korsak, Richard Elliott, and Cody Nagels trying to do a little three-truck tandem, and boy, they are so close. And it looks like actually they went from close to now they're there. They just had to get within a second and a half. It was 1.6 when they crossed the line. They've got it down under a second and a half, so they'll get there. And then you look at the group behind them. Right now being led by David Sheets, Manatzi Major doing a lot of pushing right now in that 82 truck. And you've got Mark Vondell, Chase Mastretta, the 74 Brian Hennings, and it looks like Connor Cunningham as well in the 24 truck. They're going to catch those two, so this will now make it a 21 truck lead pack. And then for Nathan Harper, Matthew Baker, they're going to try everything here to hold on, but I just don't know if they're quite going to be able to do it. Looks like they may very well need a caution here in order to have a chance at it still. And then you look at the third group. This is starting to get to the packs that are way behind the leaders. And this one, James Wagner, Larry McDonald, and Brandon Broadfoot. And then just behind them, Evan Carlbon. Right now, he leads Jackson Buys and Steve Sizemore. And then Chris Melton, Jackson Holbrook, Daniel Falkingham, Joshua Sutherland. A lot of these names back here. Surprised to see him running back here. Used to hearing those names. You see these guys up front, but a couple of them with some trouble early. You see Quentin Steinbach running with that group as well, even though he is not currently on the lead lap. Then you've got Brock, Michael Triscaro. And for Mike right now, I don't know if he has fallen a lap down. I believe he may have. Currently sitting in that 35th position. You'll see it on your scoring tower on the left side when it goes by through the next scroll. There you go, Michael Triscaro, a lap down, but he's the first truck in that lap down position. And so again, another driver that really, really needs a caution here at some point to try to get that lap back. Okay, so back up front, 2x2 formation. This has been kind of mostly what it's been, I would say, for most of the night so far, at least since we kind of calmed things down for pit stops. That's not a great statement, I guess, though, because, I mean, if you just look back to, I'd say, 3 laps before the pit stops, these guys were 3 wide, and they had it that way for about the previous 20 laps. It felt like at least maybe the 10 or 15 before then. But nobody's gotten back to that 3 wide formation just yet. They might know that this pack is a lot thinner now, and they're just going to try to continue to thin it out. We're expecting at least one more pit stop here. You figure the lap that they pit at was definitely earlier than what I initially expected based off the 50% fuel mark. So I don't think you can rule out the possibility just yet. Again, we could potentially see at least 1 and maybe 2 of green flag pit stops before the end of this race. All right, 24 of 60 laps complete here tonight at Talladega Superspeedway. We're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break of the night. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us as Malik Ray and Kevin Freeze lead the field at Talladega.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We will run! We will run! Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime! This season, we are hydrated!
The official sports drink of the UFC. It's time! Oh, that's good.
green flag is in the air. We are racing.
3 by 3.
Almost all trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. To the finish. Who gets it at the line? Cody Nagels wins it at Talladega.
Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. Just before we go back to green flag, or I guess I should say full screen, still under green, no issues while we were on break. Did want to show everybody what the payouts are looking like here tonight. So this was based off 45 entries, and I believe that they did meet that criteria, if not going just a little over. So $300 to the winner of the race here tonight, and then you're going to have $230 to second, $200 to third, $150 to fourth, $130 to fifth, and then $55 to the highest finishing driver outside the money, with no PGR win. So a lot of ways to win here tonight, but the biggest money going to be found inside the top 5 if you can finish the race in one of those positions. All right, as we go back now full screen, there's another look at Brandon Broadfoot, currently sitting a little bit further back, not with this lead pack, as we get close now to the halfway point in this race. In fact, next lap is going to be kind of right at that halfway cutoff as, Jeremy Osborne into the wall. Whoa, watch out. A couple trucks have to scatter there as they go 4 abreast through turn 1 and 2. Everybody trying to make sure that they stay out of the 6 of Andrew Zotto and the 41 of Jeremy Osborne. And they do, but man, that was another really, really close call. And the 3 wide has started to pick back up a little bit. We've seen a couple of drivers trying to make it happen. Most notably, 2 of the PGR eSports teammates, Nash Brambilla and Brock Westmoreland. Brock ducking out for a little bit of air. It's just him and his teammate. So he's got to do a lot more pushing than the other 2 lines. By the way, that next pit stop, very possibly we could see it within probably the next 5. I don't think they're quite going to make it to lap 40. I think they're going to pit just a little bit sooner than them, but we'll have to see. Maybe some drivers are saving enough to go that distance. Maybe others aren't. But you look at this lead pack now, and it is still, looks like 20 cars deep, make it 21 trucks rather. And then Nathan Harper, right now it's just him and Matthew Baker. They're still hoping for a caution. And James Wagner leading Brandon Broadfoot and Larry McDonald for that 3rd lead group. And you've got Jackson Holbrook, Daniel Falkingham, and a bunch of others, including a couple lap trucks, that are all just running right now, hoping again to get a caution, a break that would group them back up with the rest of the field. But so far, I mean, this race has had a pretty green feel to it. I don't know if it's the trucks being just overall the most stable package or if these guys have cleaned it up, but I mean, this has been phenomenal stuff so far this week. And they're going to hope to keep it that way, as when they cross the line this time, we are officially over the halfway point, and that'll leave us with just 30 laps to go here at Talladega Superspeedway. Not quite crunch time just yet. Still got that pit stop to make. For Kevin Freese, though, he's got to be feeling very, very comfortable in the position he is. Devin Ray, looking out the gearbox view, there's his teammate Joe Herta. And Velicki just behind him on the inside. And we've got Aubrey Thompson right now, looking out the back of his Chevy Silverado. He sees his teammate Ken McCullough Jr., and then how about the 43 machine? Joshua McCullough, a little bit of a different look for that truck here tonight. Josh looking for a good finish. Steve, again, working with Cody Nagels would be the assumption. Thought maybe we'd see Zachary Lima out here tonight as well, but we do not. And then a couple spots behind them, Jeff Merck, Chase Mistretta, Manazzi Major. How about Mark Vondell? Tell you what, we've been watching Mark here in the last couple weeks. He's been getting fired up about a couple things, and it's working out. Mark's saying, listen, I can go up here and run with them whenever I want. If these guys want to start to talk, I'll go up there and show it. And he's proven that here tonight. Mark Vondell has had a couple of good runs. The problem for Mark is he gets a lot of bad breaks in terms of just luck. He's got the Oregon paint scheme on here tonight. They're having a good season. Maybe Mark can turn it around just a little bit here tonight in terms of the luck side. One of his teammates, Ken McCullough Jr., always said super speedway racing comes in waves, and the other one you hear is that it's about 75-ish% skill, but you still got to have some luck. 25% luck, however you want to mix it in. You've got to have some luck on your side to get through some of these big wrecks, and for Vondell, it's just not been that way for the last couple weeks. He's hoping to, again, change that around here tonight. He's doing good so far as he continues to run in the lead pack with 32, now 33 of 60 laps complete. here at the fastest and biggest track in the series. Looks like somebody's going to try to get this third lane going again, but it's not going to be one of the lead lap cars. Instead, it's going to be Andrew Zonto in the 6 machine trying to make something happen. We'll see if anybody buys into that, tries to go with it. Michael Triscaro up here near the front. The reason Triscaro is trying to be so aggressive, even though he's not on the lead lap, is because of that right there. He sees some of these other trucks that are trying to make it to the front. And as a result of that, he knows that he's got to try to stay as aggressive and as close to the front as he possibly can in order to, of course, not potentially lose that lucky dog spot, I should say, if a caution were to fly. Now, I did want to mention that for Andrew Zonto, who we see starting to kind of work his way back up slowly to the front of the field, even though it's not for position, again, for that lucky dog spot. Either way here, as we zoom in on Andrew Zonto just a little bit, did want to give him a shout-out, more specifically, a shout-out to his sister, who just got her nursing degree today. And so, again, shout-out to both Andrew and his sister. That's a very, very big accomplishment. We like to hear that, so congrats, Andrew. Congrats to your sister as well. All right. We saw a couple pit stops here further back, and you wonder, is this the strategy call for just McCullough Motorsports or a couple others as well? Here comes David Sheets and Mark Von Dell. Looks like they brought in Chris Melton, Steve Sizemore, Joshua Sutherland, Jackson Holbrook, Evan Carlbon, and Daniel Falkingham. So this was a couple of groups that were not all necessarily together, and they're going to be even more spread out now. I think this is a bad break here for David Sheets. Unless, of course, he had no other choice. Now we're going to see the big group up front make their first stop. Can everybody get in clean? We got one coming in a little hot out back, but it looks a little better. Mike Triscaro just barely clips the grass. It looks like he's okay. So a good round of pit stops right there from everybody. Now they'll try to get into their box clean. It's going to be all about executing here on and off. This is not the last stop. You're going to have to make one more. You can't quite make it to the finish yet. But again, if you make a mistake here and it goes green to the finish, it won't matter. You won't have a chance to try to see what you can do on that last stop anyway. Vondell got out first, but that was because he either had a penalty or got in late compared to the others. As we now go back up front, and the question is, are we going to see this group now make their stop this time? It's a group of just under 10 trucks. Let's see what they do. Sure enough, here they come. Looks like Jeff Merck, Steve Korsek, going to lead him into the pits right here. And so far, so good. Ooh, big lockup for Steve right there. You see the brief jerk of the wheel. And another very aggressive yet clean round of pit stops. Looks like these guys figured something out after that crazy first sequence that we saw on the first round of pit stops. And so as they start to set it up now here, Steve going to have to get into his box a little cleaner than what he did last time. Jeff gets in without issue, as does Cody Nagels. And Steve overshoots it just a little bit again. It looks like this time it's not going to hurt him too bad. And so now that begs the question, where does Malik Ray and company blend out in comparison? They've already made their pit stop. They're up to full speed here. And so for Malik now, working his way into the tribal, they've got a lot of steam, and I think they're going to be able to shoot by this group that's still working their way out of the pits. There's the chase view. That shows you everything you need to see. Looks like for Cody Nagels and Steve Korsek, they may be okay. It's that group of three right there. Actually, Steve with that second group. So I want to change that then to, for Cody Nagels and the 60 of Jeff Merck, they might be okay. I'd maybe be a little bit more concerned about that group behind, but we'll see if they're able to find a way to hold on right here. Looking at the nose view for Connor Cunningham as he watches everybody try to sneak around Cody Nagels and company. There's the roof shot angle for Richard Elliott. And him and Korsek trying to get back up to speed. I think they're going to be okay. They were able to kind of break up this pack enough to catch some draft, stall enough cars out to get back up to speed before that lead group was really able to pull away. So this is still going to keep this front pack as a pretty large group, certainly bigger than I would have expected it to be at this point in the race. Everybody having a great first and second round of pit stops that is in this group. That's how they got themselves to this point. And right now, your top five as it runs. Malik Ray leads the field. Stephen Miles second. He's on the outside. And then back in that second row right now, Kevin Fries and Landon Velicki. And Aubrey Thompson right now, the last truck inside the top five. They're coming up on a couple more lappers here. Let's see if everybody can get through this part clean. Looks like that's Mark Von Dell along with the 77 as well. And so just 24 laps to go. It's going to be 23 when they cross the line next time. And ooh, this is what gets you nervous. You see the lappers starting to space out a little bit. The 77 is going to go to the apron, though. That's a very, very considerate and veteran move right there by the 77 machine to let the field go. Doesn't want to cause any issues. Just wanted to make sure he could stay on track as long as he could. That was Jack Mummert, by the way, who just now makes that pit stop. So as Malik Ray crosses the line with 23 to go, You look at this lead group right now as it stands, goes all the way back to Richard Elliott as they are 4 wide here. Trying to sort this out with, again, a couple of the lap cars that they're going around. And they finally will as they get back down to 3x3. But Richard Elliott, again, currently sits in that 15th spot. And then Joe Herta, right now the first truck in this second pack, he currently sits in 16th. They're about 7 seconds behind the back bumper of Richard Elliott and Minazzi Major, the cars at the back of this lead group, which means that they are most likely going to need a caution if they want any chance of getting back to the front of the field. I just think they're too far back. And this front this front pack rather, still has enough trucks where they're going to make time on all the other packs behind. They've got the most trucks, and realistically, right now, you could argue that they've got the fastest trucks as well. And so it is now 22 laps to go at Talladega Superspeedway. And the other question that you got to ask is, when will they make that final pit stop? You got a couple of choices. You either go in right at the start of the window, which I would say is probably to be safe, maybe 15 laps to go or so, or you try to run it out, go as far as you can, and then come in with the least amount of laps possible. Look at that big run up top. That's going to pull Cody Nagels clear. That might pull Steve as well. Wow, just barely. Steve Korsak had to slam the door on Matt Lee. You see Matt Lee get loose, and sometimes you can use lap cars kind of as a pick at other tracks. Usually you don't see that at super speedways, but you saw something similar to that right there for the leaders. I mean, Steve Korsak and Nagels basically just had a big run, used the draft off a couple of the lappers that were in that top lane, and were able to just shoot the gap, get clear, and now find themselves running 1-2 with 21 laps to go. Steve on the outside, though, here. Miles, if he gets clear, will he think about jumping up? He's got the opportunity right here. What is Steve going to do? Off turn 2, there he goes. Will Korsak look a lane higher? No, he will not. He will stay where he is. Steven Miles, man, this is one of those drivers that you don't give enough credit. No matter how many times you say it, the dude is underrated. Driver out of Houghton, Louisiana. And I apologize if I pronounced it wrong, but either way, Steven, he's been around the money racing scene not quite as long as some of the veterans that we see, but he came into the money racing scene already as a very experienced iRacer at other tracks, over 5K iRating. He was working with some of the best guys when he first started, Cody Nagels and company on Nightmare eSports. So he learned a lot really, really quick about the super speedway side of things, and boy, it is paying off. Steven Miles looking very, very in control up front right now. Just 20 laps to go. Now Cody, though, going to have a decision here. Does he split his teammate and try to take control of the field? Yes, he does. They will go 2x2 as they work their way off of turn 2. And as they start to get closer to the 77 of Mummert to put him another lap down, I don't think there will be any issues. And so with that, they'll get by. No harm, no foul. We're going to go ahead and take our second break of the night. Again, we'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stay with us as we now come to 19 laps to go here at Talladega.
I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive. Especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Have created our own drink company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
We will run. We will run. Ladies and gentlemen, we got this season, we are hydrated.
The official sports drink of the UFC. It's time! Oh, that's good.
Green flag is in the air. We are racing.
3x3.
Almost no trouble. Around goes Alex Hill. On into the outside wall goes Hill. They're wrecking big time out back. We're not going to throw a caution. Finish. Who gets it at the line? Cody Nagels wins it at Talladega.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. 16 laps to go in tonight's action of the Intimidator Superspeedway Series. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Looks like we've had quite a bit of viewers, a couple of chatters as well. Baker's mom, Thomas Parker, Jacob Cushman, Chance Warner, I apologize. Logan York was in the chat. Saw Thomas Parker, Mark Person. Oh, trouble, caution. And what has happened here? Multiple trucks. Oh, man, one up and over here. Just about. That's Nash Brambilla. The 48, Dylan Basin is in it as well. Looks like, is that James Wagner in the 30? Yes, it is. And oh boy, all of a sudden, this is going to change the dynamic of a race that looked like had the potential to go green all the way after the caution that we had to start the race. And no more. This is going to change a lot of things because this is right in that fuel window. And now this is where things could start to get crazy. But before we set up for all that, let's go back and see what happens here. This is coming off of turn 4. And watch further back here. Actually, it's actually going to start on the third lane, it appears. Watch this from the chopper view. So you've got the 48 of Basin up top. Nash Brambilla there as well. And you can see here for Jeff Merckes, it's just going to be a little bit of a push gone south. That's what it looks like. But right here, they're a bit offset. You can see that Basin's offset pushing Merck to the right. And it's right as they're coming off the corner, it just sends that truck down a little bit. Merck gets into the 82. That makes the back bumper fly off of Jeff Merck's truck and then just shoots back to the right on him. And then they start to pile it up from here, and this is where it's going to collect some of them. You see the 48 and the 23 get turned, both of those trucks upside down. Brambilla's going to complete the blow over here as he's getting kind of pushed by the 30 of Wagner. Lucky that this did not collect a whole bunch more. You see the 8 of Chase Mastretta with some damage. Landon Velicki was able to avoid going through pit entrance. And for Brambilla right here, I mean, what a job right there by the 5 of Quentin Steinbach. We're going to have to go back and ride with him here in just a moment. That was an incredible piece of driving to miss this wreck. Oh my goodness, but I'm more curious. We're going to watch this from a couple more angles. The first thing we're going to do again is watch the chopper view. There's something that takes off the bumper here at Jeff Merck, and I would assume it's considered the contact here. But then I'm more curious right there. Ooh, that might be a little bit of netcode that shoots him back to the left because I don't think Basin's hitting him anymore. So right at this point, right as there's going to be some contact, right there, they save it. Merck's bumper flies off, but then right there, something just shoots that truck to the right. You could assume maybe it was an overcorrection, but I just find that hard to believe. I mean, Merck's not a driver that really has an issue like that in terms of overcorrecting in that scenario, which makes you think that that was a little bit of netcode there, maybe off the right rear of Triscaro. Watch it from this view. I think that's what it was. It's really tough to tell, but I think that's what it was. Yeah, he's got the wheel. It may have been a little bit of a contribution to turning the wheel right, but I think there was definitely some netcode involved. So basically what you have here is, you know, an incident that kind of gets sparked by the 48 pushing, just getting a little offset. It starts to turn the 60 down into traffic, but they save it. But then right there, that contact ultimately causes the issue that starts to send them all around. And for Brambilla, this was a wild ride for the 23 as he goes up and over here the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. Watch it from his view. Truck starts to flip. And another big hit right there on Basin again once he landed. Now we mentioned for Quentin Steinbach, not only did he have a crazy view of this, but he also had to have some crazy wreck avoidance in the process to miss it. Watch it from his view, and we're going to go to the full cockpit shot to give you a full angle here. Watch this. He's going to see it. He's on the brakes. He's on the brakes. The 23 starts to slide up. Has to make that last second adjustment, but he does so. Keeps the truck pointed in the right direction and avoids any damage. Nice job again there by Quentin Steinbach, but for Jeff Merck and a couple others, this may very well end their day, and it's a tough way for it to go out. A couple of those trucks were having really, really good nights, but it's kind of the way it goes sometimes. But for Nash, I mean, he's got to be feeling somewhat relieved that, you know, all the damage he took with that truck going up and over, that he was able to roll away. And it almost seems like the damage really doesn't look quite that bad. As he flips back over, there's that second hit for James Wagner, who had nowhere to go. Good job to Jeremy Osborne as well for missing any of the chaos in that one as well. All right, so as we go back live now up front, 13, but it looks like it'll be 12 laps to go when we grab the green. As lights are off on the pace car, you've got Stephen Miles currently being scored as your leader, Malik Ray second. And then back in row 2, Steve Korsak, Kevin Freeze, Cody Nagels, Devin Ray back in row 3. And you've got Matt Lee, Aubrey Thompson in row 4, Richard Elliott, and Joshua McCullough rounding out the top 5. Heath Job says, sure looked like the 48 clipped Merck. We'll go back, and actually, Heath, I'm glad you pointed that out, because I do want to show this. I showed the angle, but I feel like I maybe didn't explain this the second time. I completely agree, and again, it's nothing Bason's doing egregious here. He's just trying to help. But sometimes you start to get a little bit offset, and this is what can happen. But watch it here. You're going to see that the 48, he's going to tag him just a little bit, starts to send it, but then this is the question. Right here, there's no contact there. What actually shoots Merck into the wall that really sparks the wreck, there's no contact here. And that's why we think there's a little bit of netcode here from maybe the right rear of Michael Triscaro right there. Just sends him up. Either way, a tough break for Jeff Merck. All right. So as we get ready to go back green, quick reminder, PGR 500 coming up in a couple months. Please let all your friends, family, anybody that you think might be interested in running it, let them know. It's going to be a good event. We've already got signups coming in. A lot of big names going to be in the field. And I know we said this last year, but let me tell you, we are going a lot more all out on the broadcasting side, and we have got some superstar names already potentially in the mix. Nothing confirmed yet, so I will not release any details. I'm telling you, when you hear some of these names, I think a couple people are going to get pretty excited, looking forward to it, and all the great racing that it's going to put on. All right, here we go. Going to set up for, again, 12 laps to go here at Talladega. Everybody's going to go on fuel, and that makes it now an all-out brawl to the finish for who's going to take home the 5 cash spots tonight. Green flag back in the air. 12 laps to go at Talladega, and a great restart from the 7 of Stephen Miles. Quickly, he jumps to the inside of the racetrack in front of Malik Ray. And we'll see from Malik here how long he's going to stay down before he jumps up. Korsak's going to have an opportunity here. Will he take it? Not yet. The 27's considering. It's kind of that chase up to the top. Who's going to go first? Oh, watch out. Steve Korsak's going to get split. Kevin Freeze chose the middle, and everybody went with him. Now Aubrey Thompson and a couple others are going to jump out to help the 27. All of a sudden, this middle starts to become the line that is not favorable. Kevin quickly saw that. He bailed out. Now they're going to stack up. Whoa, watch out here. This is going to get dicey. A big run. Steve trying to save it. Hold on to it. Oh, my goodness. What a save by the 27 of Korsak, trying to make a little bit of a late move. They somehow all hold on. I do not know how. Watch this again. Steve Korsak with a ridiculous save here. I would assume he's maybe on 210. But watch this here. He's going to just try to slot in line, it looks like. Yeah, he does. Maybe just, yeah, I think he just tries to slot in line, some slight contact. But look at this save. I mean, Devin Ray, you got to give him kind of a tip of the hat, too, to give Steve at least a little bit of a chance to hold on. But Steve Korsak, what a save that one was. And now the roles are going to switch. Another big move. Whoa, Stephen Miles gets a little too high. That's going to wreck him. Devin Ray into the wall. Can he keep it out? No, he won't. Back into the field. Contact between Thompson, and now it's going to collect a bunch more. Caution is out with 11 to go. Another big hit. That's Brandon Broadfoot. The 54 of Falkingham is involved. And they may still not be done wrecking yet. Broadfoot down in the grass. He's going to try to get back rolling here. And that was just, you could see that developing. And, I mean, It's just, we pretty much, I mean, for what it's worth, we should have had a wreck about a lap ago, but everybody somehow held on, so we were able to, I guess we'll say, delay it at least another lap. But unfortunately here, you knew something was going to have to give, and for Devin Ray here up top, it finally did. Let's see. So we'll go to Devin here, and this all kind of starts. And again, this is one of those things where, as a broadcaster, we try to kind of explain how the wreck starts, not necessarily pin specific blames. Right here, Steven Miles jumps up. The move's okay. The move's there. The problem is I think Steven jumps a little too high. Now, Devin does start to creep down, but it's not until Steven jumps too high. Right here, look at Devin's lefts. He's got him painted on that white line, but Steven just gets a little too high. And when he does that, I think Devin says, okay, well, if you're going to open the door, I might have to go back down here and try to take it. Watch it from the chopper view. Or was it that Devin's just getting so much of a push here that he doesn't have a choice? I think that may be what it was. Yeah, they're locked. They're 3-car tandemed out back, and I think Devin knows that. And right here, yeah, it was either a little bit of contact from Corsac that starts to get Devin to the inside, or like I said, Devin here just realizes there's just too much speed. I'm going to have to try to get to his inside. Either way, now they're a little offset. They start to stack up a bit. Devin gets down low. Corsac's trying to line him back up, but instead hooks him in the right rear, and that sends Devin up into the wall right here. They could have saved this. It was going to be close, but I think they were going to save it until there, where Devin Ray comes back down the racetrack into traffic here. And for Devin here, I'm assuming, and I've had similar things like this happen before. We'll go to his cockpit view and watch the whole thing play out. But what happens here is when you get into the outside wall, it almost feels like kind of a suction cup. It's really, really tough to get off of it. And you're trying to get off of it without coming too far down, but Devin Ray there, just a little bit too much of a correction back to the left, and sparks the big one here. The first time tonight. We've had a lot of close calls, a lot of clean racing too, but finally all starts to break out here. Not many laps left to go in this race. These two, well, Devin Ray takes a big hit. So did Aubrey Thompson. That's going to be the damage that they sustain. But then out back, we had a couple of other big hitters here. For Daniel Falkingham, I just think this developed for him with really nowhere to go as he's out back. And yeah, watch he's going to scatter up top. Hopes that he's got the right lane. Now he's trying to shoot the middle, shoot the middle, shoot the middle. He's okay here, but then Broadfoot sliding back up and just left nowhere for Falkingham to go. Now he's turned around and just chaos. Pure chaos. It's what we expect at the end of these races, especially when you get late cautions. And here we are now with a restart that's going to be under 10 laps to go. And, I mean, who really knows what to expect at this point? Is giving you another view here from turn 3 and 4. So just kind of show you the magnitude of the trucks involved in this one. As you look to see, did anybody really avoid this? Give you one more angle here from the blimp cam. Watch as everybody's going to try to do the Houdini act here through this. And so far, I think the 80 McDonald may have made it through. If nothing else, maybe just a little bit of damage, but a really nice job right there by Larry McDonald to make it through that one. All right, as we go back live now, expecting to see the one-to-go signal this time around. And that would set us up now for what would be a 7-lap-to-go restart when we get the green flag. All right. By the way, for anybody watching here tonight, again, apologies. We were supposed to have Matt Mettler in the booth with us, but he did have an issue with, I believe, his internet went back down. I believe that's what it was. And so he was with us initially right before we started, but we have not heard from him since. So I think the assumption is that technical difficulties have continued for Matt Mettler. But again, we congratulated Landon Velicki earlier, but I do want to give a congratulations as well to Matt Mettler, who has also officially been promoted to a full-time PGR eSports broadcaster. So you will now hear him a lot more in certain events, mostly Thursdays, a couple others. He now also has the ability to cover any leagues for PGR eSports by himself. So if you need a league covered, you can reach out to Matt, and it will be broadcasted on PGR eSports. Another reminder, too, PGR eSports, next place they will head Monday night with the PGR Light Race 2. We had a sellout last week. Actually, tune in for what should hopefully be another sellout this week. And also, if you're watching here tonight and you are not following us, we're really trying to get to 500. We've got a couple things in the works, but that opens up the YouTube partnership program for PGR eSports once we get to 500 subscribers. And so we are really, really close, 50 more. We're hoping to get there before the PGR 500. So again, if you don't mind giving us a follow, if you're new here and you are not following, and if you are, feel free to give the video a like. Let us know that you're enjoying it. as the pace car working through 3 and 4 right now. Landavelli on the apron. You wonder if there's any fuel concerns for overtimes for any of these drivers. I wouldn't think so, but certainly wouldn't rule that possibility out either. And so with what'll be, again, 7 laps to go, I mean, this is a dogfight all the way through, and we've got to make it all the way to the white flag before this race is official. That is still a long, long ways away with a lot of things that can happen. All right, here we go. iRacing.com pace car going to make the left turn down to the pits, and we are ready to get back to green flag racing. All right, field back in the hands of Cody Nagels and Matt Lee as they'll work back up into the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air. 7 laps to go at Talladega, and it's a great restart for the 6 of Cody Nagels, but he doesn't have any help. The 6 may be hoping to clear the 04, but it's not going to happen. Oh, watch out back. Almost some trouble there as you got a couple trucks trying to split each other. And it looks like they'll start to sort it out now. Watch out back. That's where I think you're going to see some of the trouble develop, as you've got all these hungry drivers knowing that we don't have that much longer left in the race to get to the front. You got to go now. Third lane, here we go. Who's going to go first? Looks like the 43 of Joshua McCullough is going to get hooked up with the 49 of Chris Melton. Do they have some momentum to make something happen? The 01, Nathan Harper, he's going to jump out there as well. The 6 of Cody Nagels still side by side with Matt Lee. Neither lane with the advantage just yet. It is 2 Nightmare Esports teammates on the outside. That third lane now going to make it 3. Add an additional. That'll make it 4 trucks. And watch out, because once we come to about, I'd say, another 2 laps from now, that's when you're going to see these front 2. Maybe not. I was going to say this is where you're going to see the front 2 pushers start to get hot, but Nagels, he'll get clear by a mile. Even looks like Steven Miles got clear as well. He didn't take it. He decides to stay up. Cody waiting as long as he possibly can, and he'll jump down now. This is going to keep fresh temps in the middle while we still have a run developing up top. Further back in that second group, as they continue to try to catch these leaders, you see them starting to make a couple moves for themselves as well. Michael Triscaro looking for a push up to the front. He's got his teammate Mike Davenport there trying to help him, along with, looks like the 11 machine trying to make something happen. That's Evan Carlbon, actually the 78. Excuse me. Cody still not dropping, or I guess I should say not sticking to the bottom just yet. Was able to make that move back up top in front of his teammate. And this is the goal right now if you're Nightmare. You're just trying to manage. You don't want that third lane getting a run until that last lap. If you can make it to that point, then you're going to be able to set yourself up to maybe even sweep a 1-2 finish if Cody can get down at the right time. But the 82 up top, Manatsi Major, has never gotten a PGR eSports win. He has got a big opportunity here. Look at the push by the veteran, Ken McCullough Jr., trying to send the 82 to the point down the backstretch. Not quite enough yet, but they're going to get a little more help. Joshua McCullough, Chris Melton, they're going to line up. Whoa, watch out. 4 wide. Is the 82 going to give them enough room to work? Munatsi Major gets split going into turn 3. And this is going to be really tight as everybody keeps trying to split. Now they're going to start to ping pong around. Watch out. Can everybody hold on? Things will widen out a little bit here as they get into the tri-oval. And what a sight that is. 3 and 4 wide as they cross the start-finish line. 4 laps to go at Talladega. Now we got 1 in the wall. Manatsi Major still trying to keep it out. Brock's loose. He's going to go back down into the 5. Big hit. Matthew Baker hard into the outside wall. Chris Melton, that's James Wagner's in it. We got a couple more trucks ahead here involved. A big wreck here now with 4 laps to go. As Mark Vondell down in the grass. That was Davenport as well that got collected. And this will now push us into our first overtime attempt of the night. Let's go back and look at it here. This one didn't collect quite as many, but it was a big hit for Matthew Baker and a couple others. Baker's going to get basically right hooked here into the fence. Watch this hit at full speed. Right there, Brock just, that's a big hit for the 5 truck. Brock Westermerlin as well. And it really all starts here. Again, this was, they're 4 wide. It's getting sketchy. And then, you just have everybody trying to make moves. It's too chaotic is the best way I can put it. It looks great on the broadcast, but it's so easy for things to go wrong. There's a checkup, and that's what really sparks this one, though. It's not even so much the fact that they are 4 wide. You see that checkup ahead right there. Ooh, as the 43 Joshua McCullough, something with him and his teammate there, Ken McCullough Jr., is what ultimately sparked this checkup. Watch this view here. We're going to go to the front for Ken McCullough Jr. Is that as he goes down here, Josh is going to just about get him clear. It is really close at this point. And I think Ken's going to try to take it. Josh may have been screaming, "I'm hot, you got to go." And so Ken takes the risk, and right as he goes down, you see Josh immediately looking up for air. Just gets into the outside wall, and then it starts to stack him up. This translates all the way out back. And then once that checkup gets to Brock Westmoreland, Matthew Baker just gives him a little shot in the left rear, sends Brock up into the wall. And then as Brock's trying to save it here, he has it saved. But then again, similar to what we saw earlier with Devin Ray, just that last second overcorrection is enough to get him down the track into Matthew Baker and hard into the outside wall. Brumbilla's going to take a similar shot dead right into the fence. Here's James Wagner, nowhere to go. A lot of big impacts. And then even further up there, you saw Mike Davenport. He gets hooked at the end of it. He takes a big hit. So this one collects a lot of trucks and a lot of good ones at that. Start to trim the field down more and more. The more wrecks we get here is watch it from the 1 and 2 angle. A lot of really hard hits to the outside wall. Menazzi Major was involved as well, by the way. You see Mark Vondell spinning at the end. Looks like he did collect Quentin Steinbach in the process of that one. Cockpit view here. This is for Mike Davenport. We're going to go to Matthew Baker instead. Watch the angle he had, or do we want to... Let's watch Nash Brambilla, actually. He's going to see kind of all this play out. Let's see Baker get turned, and he's going to get turned as well. All right, so after this incident, that'll now make it your 4th caution of the night. And again, this will set us up for our first overtime attempt. As we get ready to get into that final overtime attempt, let's see if we can... I was going to see if we could talk to some of the McCullough Motorsports drivers, but it doesn't look like we have them in here. I want to see if we could get a quick word with Ken McCullough Jr. In fact, we're going to go see if we can. Stick with us. We will be right back, see if we can get a word with your current leader. All right, and I think we got him here. Ken McCullough Jr. Ken, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, we're coming to an overtime finish. We know how crazy these can be, but you're still searching for that first PGR win. What does that mean you're willing to do here to try to get the job done tonight?
We'll do whatever I can do. Try not to wreck nobody, but I got to go for it here. I can't give up anything on the track now.
Absolutely, and I mean, you know, there's so many factors that come into play here at the end. A couple of the things we were keeping on, obviously, fuel mileage. I believe you guys are going to be good to go. But the bigger question is, you know, you see kind of a couple of ex-teammates on the bottom there, nightmare teammates, that is, and then you've got Stephen Miles lined up with Cody. If they get clear and they start to make a move up, is there a certain point where you try to kind of go conservative and push, or do you go for the win all the way through?
I'm going for the win. That's all I can say. I'm not going to wreck anybody, but I'm going for it.
That's the best way to go about it. Hey, Ken, we appreciate you giving us a couple quick words. Good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see if we're talking to you in Victory Lane.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, there you go. Make sure we sort those guys out. I feel like that last question I gave Ken, it was definitely could have worded it a little bit better, but the idea I was going for here, this is always a tough spot as a driver. Most tracks, if you're the leader, coming to a green-white checker, that's the best spot to be in. Sometimes at these super speedways, it's not quite the case. And the idea that I was kind of getting at here, and I like the answer Ken gave to it, is, you know, if it sets up where you have a driver that gets in front of you, you're the lead pusher. Normally, I think you would hear Ken say, yeah, I'm just pushing, I'll get a money spot. But it's, again, it's a PGR win. Not you don't just, it's not like some of the series where everybody's got a win in it. I mean, they're exclusive. The drivers that have a win in PGR, I mean, it is big names. Ken is he's a big time money racer. He wants to add his name to that list. Tonight's the chance to do it. And so he's willing to do whatever it takes as long as it's clean. If that means leaving a guy out that he could have potentially pushed to a win, so be it. We'll have to see if tonight's his night. Either way, I'm sure that 03 truck is hoping that he can see the checkered flag on all 4 wheels, if nothing else. And I have a feeling that Kevin Freeze, knowing that he's already got a couple PGR wins, may be a very loyal pusher to Ken McCullough Jr. However, he's got Malik behind him, so who knows? Maybe those two will jump out of line to try to make a move to win it for themselves. Either way, though, it's time to find out. It'll be, again, a 2-lap shootout. We've got to make it around 1 lap to make this race official to grab the white flag. And again, that is when the race will be deemed official. If not, if we get a caution on this first lap, then we will rack them up and try it again. All right, here we go. Pace car going to make the left turn. Down below the apron it goes. Ken McCullough Jr., a chance at his first PGR eSports win. Let's not forget about Matt Lee. The job he did last week, he claimed his first PGR eSports win. Can he make it back-to-back wins tonight? We are getting ready to find out. Here we go. Green-white checker to decide it. Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go at Talladega. Good restart for the front row. Looks like Matt Lee was going to beat Ken McCullough Jr. to the line. But that outside getting organized, a little bit more help. And if you're Ken McCullough Jr. or Matt Lee, you've got some decisions to make here. Do you stay in the lane you're in right now, or do you try to get clear the other and get there as soon as you can? I think if you're Ken right here, if you get clear, he may drop down to the bottom. We'll see what he chooses to do. He's got the run. The momentum's there. Ken McCullough Jr. gets clear and goes right down to the bottom. Meanwhile, up top, Melton's blocking. He's going to put a move on the 98. That's Joshua Sutherland trying to make something happen on the high side of the racetrack. Can they get back to the white flag without a caution? 3x3 coming off of turn 4. Third lane really starting to develop now. Kevin Freese still leads the middle. Does Matt Lee have enough to push Ken McCullough Jr. to the win? Does Malik Ray have one more move to make, or will he stick with Freese? White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go at Talladega. Oh, watch out. Matt Lee's going to wiggle. Oh, man, Steve is not going to be able to cut him a break. They're going to go 4 wide. This is going to make it awkward out back. Trouble. They're going to hold on to it for now. There they go. The field's going to pile up big time out back. Up front, though, looks like the first 10 to 20 are going to keep it clean and break away. Ken McCullough Jr. with a big push. Steven's going to make the move. Miles goes up top. No help on the bottom yet. Here comes Chase Mastretta. He'll lock onto the 03. He may not have another move to make. Kevin Freese, does he have enough temps to push the 7 all the way back to the line? Steven Miles is going for his first win as well. Malik Ray up top. Will Kevin ditch the 7 for one more move? Here we go. Final time into the tri-oval. Will all pushers stay loyal? Right now, oh, watch out. There's the move. Kevin's going to jump up top. They're looking for a run. Now the bottom surges. Back to the checkered flag. Who gets here first? Ken McCullough Jr. First career win in PGR eSports. He gets it done. Wins it by less than 100th of a second over Kevin Freese. What a win. He's finally done it. Ken McCullough Jr. will add his name to the list. And it was less than 100th of a second for the margin of victory between second and third. Oh my goodness, what a finish. Let's go back and look at it here. It was so close that I want to make sure we check official scoring here to be 100% sure, but that may be one of the biggest wins he's had in a while for Ken McCullough Jr. So many things were happening here on this last lap. But it finally works out in the favor of the 03. Chase Mastretta doing all he can. But maybe almost did a little too much right here at the end, or was it the outside? Either way, they started getting squirrely. Let's see. So right here, Freese makes the move. I didn't think they would have any shot on the outside, but they get lined up quick enough. Malik starts pushing the 25. Ken McCullough Jr. here trying to hold on. Chase pushing for all it's worth. And when they get back to the line here, this is the view. There's the line for Ken McCullough Jr. Just how close was it? Wow. Gets it by about quarter of a truck length. And I can tell you right now that that will not be deemed any sort of penalty for going under the yellow, as his truck was kind of, I don't want to say hooked, but to a degree forced down there just from all the pushing that was going on out back. And then the finish for second and third. Oh my goodness. Steven Miles, Kevin Freese. And then you see Chase Mastretta. And then even the battle for that final payout position in fifth. Great stuff all around. And there's the view here from TV1 to show you just how wide that field was. I mean, that is all you can ask for in a finish. And again, an incredible win here by Ken McCullough Jr. All right, so as he burns it down on the front stretch at the start-finish line, we take a look at your official results for the night. Ken McCullough Jr., your race winner. Kevin Freese in second with Steven Miles back in third. Chase Mastretta finishes in fourth. Malik Ray fifth. Matt Lee back in sixth with Richard Elliott in seventh. Cody Nagels eighth. Daniel Falkingham ninth. And Brian Hennings rounding out your top 10. Moving on back to 11th, it's Andrew Zonto with Evan Carlbon back in 12th. Then you've got Manatzi Major 13th, Steve Korsak in 14th. Aubrey Thompson finishes in 15th with Nathan Harper in 16th. Dylan Basin 17th. Landon Velicky finishes in 18th. And rounding out the top 20 here tonight is going to be Connor Cunningham and Larry McDonald. Joshua Sutherland finishes 21st. Brock Westmoreland 22nd with Chris Melton 23rd. Joe Herda 24th with David Sheets in 25th. Michael Triscaro 26th. Joshua McCullough 27th. Jackson Bison 28th. Brandon Broadfoot 29th, and Jeremy Osborne rounds out your top 30. 31st, Quentin Steinbach. 32nd, Matthew Baker, and Aspen Villa finishes 33rd. Mike Davenport 34th with Mark Vondell 35th. Devin Ray in 36th with James Wagner in 37th. John Ward back in 38th. Steve Sizemore 39th. And Jeff Merck rounding out the top 40. Jack Mummert finishes 41st. John Darnell 42nd. Jackson Holbrook 43rd with John Mullahan in 44th. And Ethan Eckert in 45th. Troy Baker, Garrett Maines, and Sean Corbett, along with Christopher McCullough, did not make the field here tonight. All right, we're going to go grab your top 3, including your race winner, for interviews. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Talladega. All right, going to kick things off first tonight with your race winner, Ken McCullough Jr. Ken, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Let's go, baby.
Now, there you go. I was going to say, first question is, how does it feel? You've been trying and trying. You finally get the breaks to go in your favor tonight to have a shot at the end, and then you execute in the overtime. How'd you do it?
Man, I might retire. You know how long I've been chasing this thing? Oh, my God, it feels good to win this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's so chaotic. I mean, we mentioned it a couple times during the race. You need so much to go your way on top of the fact that you've got to get track position as well. And I mean, when you start to get to the end of a race, it seems like you take a different approach than a lot of drivers. You kind of hang back and then go for it at the end. Do you feel like that was kind of what worked out for you here tonight?
I mean, I got a lot of respect for these guys. And I had some friends, even though they weren't teammates, I had some friends up there tonight. Chase did a hell of a job pushing me to the line there. I was working with Matt there a little bit. He helped me out. But, you know, you have respect for these guys. They will help you at the end of these races sometimes. I'm just glad to get this first win.
Absolutely, and it was a good one, too. A photo finish win at that. But, hey, to get your first win, it's got to feel good. So before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I got to thank Michael for putting this on. This is one of the toughest races week in and week out to win. It is not an easy task to do that over here. Thank you for doing the broadcast, and thank Chase and Matt and all my teammates, man. Everybody did a hell of a job tonight.
Indeed. Hey, Ken, we appreciate you talking to us again. Congrats on the win. You're going to get a sweet payout to go along with it, and we will see you hopefully next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
All right, that'll bring us now up to your second place finisher here on the night, and that is Kevin Fries. Hey, Kevin, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, man. How are you?
Good. Well, you bring home a second place finish here tonight and a photo finish, too, for the win. Take us through the mindset there on those final couple of laps and making that move in the trial there to try to get by Miles.
Yeah, it was a heck of a battle. I was hoping we would keep the top rolling, but lost a little bit of momentum after Kenny cleared, and then we were able to get it back, but after Miles was able to get in front of me. So we were just pushing. Oh, I didn't realize everybody went to the third lane. Now I see what happened. Yeah, but man, that was a fun race. It was hard as heck to keep pushing there, especially if you were on the bottom, because the engine temperatures were just skyrocketing. In like a lap you were hot. So I was hoping that we could make a move later and on Kenny, but a heck of a race by him to get up there when he did. Great timing by him. Can't thank Malik enough for that huge shot to get me the P2 finish. It was fun. He was up front the whole night. We worked really well together. Yeah, great night tonight.
Absolutely. Going to get a pretty sweet payout as well with that second place finish. So, Kevin, before we let you head out, is there anyone else you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thank you for putting on the broadcast, Triscaro and Baker, for dealing with all the nonsense that comes with hosting all of these events for us every single week. Hope everybody gets signed up and watches the PGR 500. And thank you to drivers up front, kept it clean all night and had a heck of a race.
Absolutely. And Kevin, thank you for talking to us. Congrats on the second place finish, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, thank you, man. Have a great night.
You as well. All right, now that'll bring us to your third place finisher for Nightmare Esports. It's Stephen Miles. Stephen, this is also up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you bring home a good third-place podium finish here tonight, and man, you were so close there at the end. What was going through your head? You made the move on Ken McCullough Jr. Did you think that the help on the outside would be there all the way to the finish?
No, not in these races, Austin. I already prepared myself when I made the move. I just know I just wanted to be in the middle, and I wanted to have a shot of getting the podium to try to be in the championship race. I've been trying for a handful of races now, and I knew Kevin was going to lead me. I just didn't know. I didn't want to throw a block on him right there and cause an accident or something like that, mess up anybody else's day. So I just kept it right there, and luckily Lee was able to give me a little bit of push, I guess, to not lose too much ground there and get out of the podium.
And now that you get that podium, how do you kind of go prepare, knowing that you'll have a shot at that championship race now?
Run every race like I did today, man. Usually I try to chill and relax and just wait as the green flag pit stops come or all the cautions to come, and it had a green flag look. So I just tried to get up front after that pit stop, made a good little pit road entry and missed all the chaos and stayed up there with Malik and everybody else, and just keep my track position and keep myself in position to win. And I'm pretty sure it'll work out one of these times.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Steven, we appreciate you talking to us. So before we let you head out here tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Thank Nightmare Esports, man. This team been on the road. Shout out Kenny, too, for getting his first win. I wish it was mine, but I'm glad I lose to him for him to get his first one. Thank you and PGR Sports, eSports or whatever, the broadcasting these races every Thursday. And y'all do a hell of a job, man. And thank my mom, my girlfriend, and most of all, thank God. And that'll be it.
Absolutely. And Steven, thank you again for talking to us. Congrats on the third place finish, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
All right. Well, with that, that's going to wrap up our coverage here tonight from Talladega Superspeedway. What a great race that one was. We had a lot of green flag action, a couple of big wrecks, and a photo finish to end it. The trucks did not disappoint tonight, and we're hoping to see more next week. The PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series will be back then, and we are looking forward to it. As for tonight, thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, I hope you enjoyed. That's it for me, Austin Green, here on PGR Esports. And until next time, have a good night.